Hello, hello, it's Gabriel. We're singing a song tonight. Ha, 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 ha. People say I'm crazy, doing what I'm doing. Well, they give me all kinds of advice, trying to save me from ruin. When I tell them that I'm doing fine, well, they look at me kinda strange. You can't be happy here, you're no longer in the game. People say I'm lazy, I'm dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice, designed to enlighten me. When I tell them that I'm doing fine, watching shadows on the wall. You can't be happy here, you're no longer on the ball. I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to watch them roll. I'm no longer riding the merry-go-round. I just had to let it go. Ha, 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 ha. People ask me questions, lost in confusion. Well, I tell them there's no problems, only solutions. And they shake their head and they look at me as if I lost my mind. I tell them there's no hurry, I'm just sitting here doing time. I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to see them roll. I'm no longer on the merry-go-round. I just had to let it go. Da-na-na-na. I just had to let it go. I just had to let it go. Yeah, that's some John Lennon right there. Watching the wheels go, watching the wheels go around. There's one lyric, I paused there because I forgot, and then I just substituted the lyrics from the first verse. It was, people say I'm lazy watching my life go by. Give me all kinds of advice trying to enlighten me. Tell them I'm doing fine. Watching shadows on the wall. Don't you miss the big time. That's what I forgot. I forgot to miss the big time, guys. Yeah. Right. Anyway. Oh, man. Today was a long day. It's Friday for me. This is going to go up on Saturday, but it's kind of like there are days like today where I work super hard and I get these big dramatic notions in my head of how important things are, and it's I just overblow things. So there's a couple aspects to it. Number one, it is really cool that I get to have a channel and that people seem to respond to it, or in some ways I'm influencing the collective consciousness. And so I kind of want to do that really well, but then also it's we're gonna not need to be so, I don't need to be so caught up in the things I'm doing, because it's emotional for me, and it's just kind of shocking also. It's at least initially, the first time I learned some of the things that I share, I'm how... what? And today I shared a lot of things that I feel like are shocking. And, like, I feel like, you know, Christmas in July was one thing where it was just like, less, it was just less, it felt like it was a less, crazy idea. Even though at the time it was, like, still shocking. But then today's, like, I feel like a lot of the things I shared today were, like, kind of, like, about just how crazy things have gotten. Like, it's one thing if you don't like someone and you just have another thing about them that you are like, oh, that's another thing about you that I might find distasteful. And then it's another thing to be like, okay, here's a lot of context, a lot of disclosures, a lot of authorizations. I think I mean, yeah, I'm not going to toot my own horn right now because it's over, but there's a lot. So I'm not just, like, sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. Like, I was doing that for a little bit. Yeah, and I kind of worked a little bit harder more recently. Yeah, because I wanted, yeah, like I said in my last video, like, I was kind of thinking that the initiative was important, and, you know, I just feel like it might be important, but it also might not be lost. It may never have been in question, but I really was trying to not lose it. That was like, I was like, Commander Gabriel, I'm the king, I'm gonna make a big play here. You know, like, play is the wrong word, but I'm gonna make sure things go right tonight, and, you know. So, that's, you know, a couple of weeks of work I put up today, and it'll be nice to relax a little bit following that crazy kind of display of work, presentation, you might say. Yeah, went pretty well, I thought. I don't know. It could all just be in my head, but it also feels like today was like an upgrade for everybody in terms of seeing things. Just, yeah, it's, I'll just say one thing, which is that the church was purposefully split up, and just like we have these, like, dramatic things in the media, where people get in these, like, fights that are, like, you know, designed to sell records or tickets or whatever, that happened in the church in the 1700s during the Reformation or the First Great Awakening, and yeah, that's something that's meaningful to me. I mean, the church, in my opinion, is a very flawed institution, just, like, generally speaking. So anytime I can, like, find more truths relating to that, I think that's very valuable. And yeah, it's also, like, just emotional sometimes when it's, like, exciting, and then also, like, you feel like you have to be combative about it and, like, make sure you're doing your best. I mean, combative, I guess, is one way, because you're, like, competing to put the right truth out there. It's not really like you're combating, like, physically. It's more like you're trying to change the narrative. So, yeah, that's a weird fight to be in. Like, fighting the media, or, you know, like, this, like political industrial complex, or, I mean, there's so many different ways to describe it, but, you know, those, like, clandestine CIA operations, like, to put politicians in power, like, those are real. Like, that's, like, literally, like, the people who are have been running our government and our religious institutions have not been doing it with like the interests of the people in mind. So like when you get the opportunity to like put the truth out there about that, sometimes it can get a little bit emotional if you value people, basically. So yeah, I was definitely feeling that today. I was feeling that kind of like vibe of like trying to just make the most of it. And it's funny because like the tools I have to do it are like so steeped in or so rooted in just like bad things, like you know, I just feel like you can reach people, but a lot of times it feels like I'm in an echo chamber. But still, it's like if you wake up, you know, there's no valor in counting the numbers, so you just got to remember that one person is worth it. All that work I did today just to reach one person, that would be worth it. And yeah, that's a nice idea that I could have reached one person. And I mean, it feels like I'm reaching like way more than one person. Like, you know, when Rob Counts just says getting smoked out, and he just like keeps saying it. Feels like, yeah. I mean, after I wrote Revelations 10:7, there was like this great like talk amongst people I like to watch about religion. So it does seem like it's there. The channel's there, and it's a good thing because in the video I recorded before I put that thing up, I said I have a channel. So it's a nice idea that I have a channel. I'm happy with it so far. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting when you get the big disclosures, and like there's some disclosures that I can't even make because they relate to people I know. So it's like if I know what their past lives are, I can like go into that. But if it's you know, if there's like a friend of mine who is portrayed in like a Hollywood movie, or like, you know, just identical to an actor in a Hollywood movie, like I can't just yeah. What I'm trying to say is Facebook is a very interesting part of this. Facebook is like, Facebook allows people to get a first-person perspective on anyone's life. And that's, like, social media does that in general. And that's kind of why, as soon as you do anything, people are going to go to your social media. Because it's the clearest indication of, like, who you actually are. And yeah, it's kind of cool that that's there and that people can engage with that. And it's also like kind of weird sometimes because I'm like, I don't know, like I'm like curious myself, and then I like go through my own Facebook and I'm like, oh my gosh, who can I even, like, who are these people? Which is interesting. Like, I'm definitely just second guessing like a lot of things about my past and about like my habits, and about like what I can do to be of service. Because yeah, that's definitely ultimately a valuable thing, to be of service. And like, yeah, there's so many different directions you can take it. And music is great. Like, I love to be able to just come out here and be like, I'm not going to do like a real video. I'm just going to sing Screw it. I don't want to do any real work tonight. I just want to relax by the fire. And that's like a way better song than I can do, because like the piano line, that's like the ha 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 ha, like that piano line just carries the whole song. So if you don't have a piano, it's like, well, it's gonna be like a mediocre performance basically. But it was still, it's still fun to sing it. So even if you don't like it when I sing it, maybe it would be better if you sang it. Yeah, singing. Singing is definitely a huge improvement in these videos. Like the fact that I can not just talk, and that I can just be, like, open up a video like that, and just makes it easier for me. Makes me feel like I have like a stronger message too, because like you can work off of what's already been produced, which is nice. Yeah, and it also helps you like talk. It's also kind of like a subtle way of like referencing people who are still alive, because like everybody is still alive. Like there are like the past lives like are still, even if people like might not realize it, like you are still the same person from your past life. So yeah, it's cool to like sing from someone who you appreciate in the present, and be like, that's a great song. Thank you for writing it. And yeah, John Lennon, he's got a great message there. So I'm glad I could share that. And there's like a lot better music from the past than is like existing today. Or maybe that's just me sounding like an old fart, but I don't know. That's just kind of like the truth. I feel like there's some like very weak music out today, like overproduced, and I don't know, not. I mean, I like Kanye overproduced, but I don't like. It's not like overproduced in the sense that it's like musically, like schematically overdone. It's like, I don't know, just poorly written, I guess. Good writing is something you can really value, especially when you realize that like the best musical writing is done by people who are trying to be of service to others, and they can just like channel good music, and that's such a great thing to understand. Like when you hear a really good song and you're like, wow, that song sounds like it has like a divine like a divine source, like you can just kind of sense it sometimes. Like this person isn't just trying to sell records, and that's a great thing to see in an artist, that they're trying to make the world better and just share what they love, which is music. And hopefully I can do that. I don't know. It's but even if I like fail in the effort, like it's still worth it. It's still worth kind of failing. And yeah, in that song specifically, like I definitely relate to that. Like I have 2 engineering. I'm like basically a semester away from 2 engineering degrees, or even less than a semester. And it's like, it's just a merry-go-round. Like you're just. Sometimes it's nice to be able to step away, but you're gonna face criticism for it. So it's not a simple thing, but yeah, it's nice that I have like the means to do that, to step away and to watch the shadows on the wall. Except that's not really what I'm doing, but It's more like following the dreams. He doesn't really talk about that in the song, but man, they really, I don't know about anybody else. My dreams have been intense lately, and yeah, man. They keep talking about one person for me. And I feel like I need to wait to... It's so strange because I'm just in the middle of this crazy time in my life when it's like, it would be so nice to like be sharing this time with somebody like in person and not through a phone or through like other mediums. But then it's like, how would I even begin to explain what's going on? Like, first of all, I always smell like a campfire, like everywhere I go. I'm like a walking incense burner. What else? And then it's like, yeah, it's like, what am I even, you know? What is this? Like, in conventional terms, like, this isn't a valuable endeavor in conventional terms, so... Instead of, yeah, it feels like I haven't really talked a lot about my own past lives, but, you can trace, like, groups of people from past lives. So, like, I've traced groups of people from my past lives, because, like, obviously I'm not just, like, hanging out with a bunch of people right now, And yeah, like, I know some people who I, like, would be able to get along really well with. And they put them in my dreams, and it's like, oh, it's a doozy. It's a doozy because it's like, can you put yourself out there and make a presentation of yourself and what you're doing and like explain the value of it and try and you know, be like, these are the people who are potentially listening to me. Because yeah, it's like that's where it gets a little bit hard to explain. It's like, if nobody is like openly communicating with me and I'm like you know, only getting invited places on accident or like I don't know. It's just like, yeah. It's like hard to explain. And the people I've tried to explain it to, it hasn't worked. So it's like, I am a little intimidated to try and talk, I guess. To use my mouth in a social way. Like, it's one thing with my family, because you're just like, yeah, I already... There's no need to really explain much to my family, but, you know, with everybody else, it's like, you know, those concerns. People shake their head and look at you like you're crazy, so it's tough. Like, I'm not the only one who's experiencing that kind of isolation or that kind of, like, difficulty with, like, people not understanding the like motivations for their social media acts or like, you know, newfound, you know, pursuits in the labor market, but it's quite an intimidating position to be in, and yeah, I could say more about it, but I think people get the point. I think it's a very relatable issue for a lot of people. So, hope you enjoyed that little John Lennon. It's a nice day today, and yeah, I spent it like pretty much all inside, but it's been nice to get out, sing a little bit, get off the computer. Anyway. Oh yeah. I wonder like how much other people learn from what I do. Because like I learn a lot from what I'm doing. So it's definitely worth it. And that's kind of also hard, is that it is worth it. So it's like, even if people don't understand, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Because I'm learning like so much. And yeah, learning new songs, meeting new people, and just finding a whole new meaning of my life. So it's really valuable. All right, so I hope you enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you soon.